Yo, 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 yo. Spin that back one time. Can you? Welcome to another Spin That Back show. Once again, it's your host, your boy El Pooh. And we got Mr. Nice Guy with us today. And what we do here is we talk about old school hip hop from the golden age, well, from the stone age to the golden age, and to about that's about it actually.
From 79 to 99.
Yeah, there you go. From 79 to 99, the Stone Age to the Golden Age. You know, we don't talk about the hip hop going on today. Every now and then something might leak in, but what we really talk about here is old school hip hop, from the ground up. And today we're gonna be talking about on the Spin That Back show, the legacy of the great Gang Starr. And you know what? It's a shame because I'm ashamed to say it, but I gotta say it. I didn't own those Gang Starr till I got older. Nope. As a real hip hop head, I didn't have no Gang Starr in my arsenal. But I had a whole lot of production by Premier, like Nas and all the other stuff he was doing. But I didn't have no Gang Starr. Mr. Nice Guy, what you guys say about Gang Starr? I think I
Hey,
slapped on him. I slapped him.
yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, you're not the only one. You got to understand there's a certain period of time where, as an artist, I wasn't really trying to be influenced by other people, so I wasn't really trying to pay attention to other people's music. I was very dug into creating my own. So there's a period of time where I wasn't really catching stuff. And I got to say that, in doing my homework for this, I've heard a lot of the Gangstar. I had a lot of stuff. I did buy the discography when it, the compilation album when it came out, and I was a fan of a lot of stuff that came out, the videos and stuff, but I found that there was a lot of stuff that I just completely missed. I always had respect for this crew, this group, but I'm just telling you, after digging into it, there was so much stuff that I missed. I mean, they had so much product, but they also had so many videos. It was amazing to see, like, you have one album and there's like 4 or 5 videos. Like nowadays, people release stuff, they do a video for every song. That's normal, but that wasn't normal back then. I mean, they those cats was putting in major work. So I mean, we're gonna salute to those brothers, but I did dig into a little history. So let me set up a few little things about Gangstar. So let me read this. I'm quoting what Floyd X refers to as the Bible of the internet, which is very disrespectful, but suffice it to say, he says the original Gangstar group was founded in Morehouse College by three friends from Boston, Massachusetts. That's Guru, the dude that's Big Shug, and this other dude, Suave D. Now, and they went by different names. I don't want to go too much into that, but they bottom line is that they were the trio. They put in some work. They did some things, and then at some point, the other Big Shug got arrested, got incarcerated. Suave D, just sort of like peeled away from the group, and then Guru ended up recruiting Primo. He's like, hey, let's do this. I heard some stuff. Let's get together. Let's move to Brooklyn and really like pursue this music stuff. So literally, that's what he did. He went and grabbed this cat, and they went there, and history was made. I mean, these cats put it down. So, that's what's up.
In that back, man. That's some history right there. Mr. Nice Guy coming through with it. Mr. Nice Guy, thank you for putting that real history about that. That's the truth. See, people don't realize Premier wasn't a part of the original Gangstar. That was Guru's group.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some real stuff.
And us behind the scenes that were involved in music and doing our own things, we know how the machinations, how this stuff changes, how personnel changes. You mess with this dude, then you're not messing with this dude. You go by this name, then you go by that name. You know what I'm saying? There's so many names, so it's just the natural evolution of how rappers and rap groups function. So it was just very interesting to hear where they were coming from and then where they ended up. So I mean that's it's pretty amazing.
And interesting even more Guru is from Texas. I mean, not Guru, but excuse me, Premier is from Texas.
Yeah, yeah. As I'm saying, they he recruited them. He recruited him to move to Brooklyn for
Yeah,
the purpose of forming Gangstar and really going after this music.
yeah, right, man.
It's that's just an amazing testimony. And DJ Premier, one of the greatest, dopest hip hop producers of all time. Dope ass DJ. I remember when he was first dropping this stuff. Most everybody was like, "Yo, man, that DJ is real tight." It's just like what I'm saying. It's real. Some DJs are sloppy, funky. Like Marley Marl was sloppy, funky, but but Premier was tight with it. So it was different.
Yeah, well, the first album that they had was what? No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Pause. So yeah, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And when I was reflecting on it, I was looking at the track, and stuff like that. I went through pretty much all the music last night just to sort of like reflect, and I didn't really feel that this was a very strong album, even though I felt there were some strong songs on it. Like Manifest is just a classic dope song. That was their breakout intro, Gangstar song to the world, of the DJ Premier Guru machination of Gangstar. And I mean that song was amazing. It had dope video, had dope everything. That was the beginning. And I felt like there was probably only a few other songs that really kind of moved my needle on this album.
You know what I thought about this album? I thought the production was crazy, especially with DJ Premier's in deep concentration.
Yeah,
Premier just on the
that
tape,
that was that. Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
you know. And then this is where Premier, started to show. This is where he showed his skills. See, because Premier was a different type of producer back in them days. He wasn't even using no drum machines. He was just using breaks, just records, just building the records and just letting it do what it do. And he was dope, back then. And everybody couldn't do that and mix those records the way that, because this man was flawless with his mixing back then, and he had a style. And yeah, of course, he got a style, but you can just see it formulating back then. That's what I did like about this album right here. But I never really liked Premier. I mean, excuse me, I get them all mixed up. Guru, I didn't like Guru too much.
He's got that monotone vibe, and it's just he's really kind of like almost like an acquired taste type situation. A lot of people have respect for his as a lyricist,
Mhm.
but he's not necessarily very an expression an expressioning a rapper. You know what I'm saying? And they talk about. I mean, he dug into it like the monotone vibe. You know what I'm saying? But that was his lane. It was he pulled it off. So.
Yeah, but even on the production on this album, and even the next album, it was kind of like, dull. They didn't really find themselves to like the third album. That's when you can kind of hear.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I was like listening to Step in the Arena. That's the second album,
Oh
right?
yeah, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it, but
We come back to it because
it ain't really much on this album though. Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
get
That first album, in my opinion, there wasn't a whole lot that I felt like that was their first foray, and they were working some things out.
okay. So step into the arena. Let me see.
This is when I
That was
feel
this
they
album
fully,
there, right? Yeah.
yeah, that was when I feel they fully came into what they would become, or the beginnings of it. But they fleshed it enough that I mean, to me, this is a great album. This isn't just like a few good songs. I mean, I was listening to this. There was song after song that was a banger, and it was funny. There's one song that have always been disrespectful to. It's one song that blew up that everybody liked that I always disliked, and I got a confession to make. I've only heard that song like on MTV, so I always thought it was very weak as far as the drums and stuff like that. But I was playing it, on my iPad, or playing it in the car, and hearing like the cool elements of the song. And I'm like, yo, this song is fleshed out a whole lot more than I gave it credit for. So I gotta apologize to everybody. I've been dogging just to get a rep for the longest, and I'm just saying there's a whole lot much more to it than I ever heard. So I apologize.
Yeah. It was a it, yeah, well, yeah. I don't even know how you got that one messed up,
Well,
bro.
you listen to it on TV, and maybe my TV wasn't as banging as your TV, but I just felt like it was kind of boring, and I just felt like I'm a person that I really believe in drums. That's one of the things I really love about Tribe. Tribe has really punchy, tough drums. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that gets me about hip hop. I hate how like nowadays everybody just wants to do like spoken word. It's like, Nas got these songs where they hardly even a beat. I've accused him of being a weak beat picker, and he's not even picking a beat at all. So I don't care for that. I need to hear some drums. I want to hear some kick, and I want to hear some snare, and I want it to be pronounced. But it was solid. It was solid.
Well, see, this is where Premier showed his versatility, though, because he can make those, those banging, real boom bap type sounds, and then he can kind of go in other places with it too. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do really understand about Premier. I really respect about Premier, and I admire about Premier. He could, well, in the future, we'll get to this anyway. He did some other stuff. I'll just say it like that, so I won't give it away. But yeah, Premier, he showed his stuff on this album, bro. You know,
And I mean, you're talking about step in the arena. You're talking about former intellect,
mhm.
execution of a chump. I mean, and then check the technique. I mean, and check the technique. I always forget. Is that the one where I think he had Inspector Deck? I know he had Inspector Deck on one of those songs, and Inspector Deck is like my favorite member of the Wu Tang. So I mean, that dude is just got a special patterny style. So he's just dope. But I mean, there's a bunch. That whole album I felt was very strong, and I was very impressed with it. It deserved much more acclaim than I gave it back in the day.
Right. This one I didn't really get into too much either. I don't even think I even listened to this one. I kind of went through a couple of their albums. I don't even know if I made it to this one. But
So you're gonna put up Daily Operation
oh yeah, well, Daily Operation was the
because
next
that's the next album. Yeah, the next album is Daily Operation.
So let's see what's
Now,
going on. Let me see.
now this had some classic joints on it. So you talk about ex girl to the next girl. I
Yeah,
mean, that's just take it personal, and really this song. I remember when I was DJing, and it's a lot. Again, there was a time where I was active DJ, and then I pretty much kind of retired and was really more trying to focus on being an artist myself. But a lot of times I was bailing people out. People come to me, "Hey, I need this, whatever." And I remember it was a situation where I was DJing up at Dublin's, and I was like, "Yo, putting my playlist together," and there's this song called BYS called "Bust Your Shit," and I'm just telling you. I love this song. It makes me want to dance, but it wasn't right for this crowd because they didn't even want at Dublin's they didn't even want you to play rap at all because they didn't want to attract black people. Be all honestly, they were very deliberate with the music that they played and the dress code they enforced to pretty much find a way to selectively weed out that crowd that they didn't want to bring into Dublin's, even though at the time it was owned by a black person. Irish club that was owned by a black person. But Bust Your Shit is, I mean, it's just dope. It's simple, but it's fundamental. I mean, I love it. It was one of my favorite songs, and that's why if just with that being on this album by itself would pretty much carry the album for me. But the reality is that there was a lot of banging stuff on it. I mean, when I was listening to this album, I thought like, wow, they put in that work.
well, they did. They did. I mean, when I listened to this album the other day, I was listening to that the second joint, "Place Where We Dwell," and it started off. It had that one little sample, "Never Take Your Shorts," because Brooklyn's the borough that they use for the Crooklyn Dodgers. I was like, yeah, okay. I knew I had heard it somewhere. Yeah, I remembered that. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, and it's funny because there's just a lot of stuff didn't quite make it to me. Like back in the day, I mean, all the singles, I heard all that stuff. A lot of stuff that was in circulation, a lot of that stuff made it to me. But as far as like really taking an ear to this album, I really didn't do that until like last night.
Hmm.
And I mean, there was just like the other songs that I didn't hear. That's the thing about a lot of stuff I hear in pieces, so I don't necessarily sit down or I don't necessarily remember the whole thing. I mean, a lot of stuff I probably did get exposed to, but
Hmm.
as far as my evolved, mature ear, I gave it a real good listen last night and just immense respect for not only DJ Premier, one of my absolute favorite producers, but just far as the combination of what those two did. Guru was a dope lyricist. He was monotone. He wasn't very expressionist. I mean, I love expression in my rap, so I'm really not a fan of that, but I feel like he pulled it off.
Well, let's give it up to Guru. He was all right. You know, he started growing on me around this album. That's what I can say. But you know what? I don't ever hear Guru going up in nobody's top 10, and I don't think he's gonna make it into nobody's top 20.
Well,
Anytime.
see, and that's the thing about it. I hear a lot of people saying that. I mean, they actually got a really big fan base. I mean, if you look in the YouTube comments and stuff like that for a lot of these videos and stuff, I mean, a lot of people felt like he was, the greatest of all time. I mean, I think that's a ridiculous position to take. But I mean, everybody's got their own sort of like flavor and vibe and tact and eyeballs into this situation. So, I mean, when you look at the discography, I was telling you before the show, I said it was almost unfair to have DJ Premier as part of your group. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was just an unfair advantage of this dude that was this amazing dude. And then you had him and he was your guy, your part of your group. He's making all this great music for everybody else, but he's your guy. So your stuff is gonna be special. And I mean, it's just track after track. It's just a great, peek into Premier's amazing mind and ear for just grabbing a little bit. I mean, a lot of stuff is very simple, but it's just simply dope. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I can't give Primo enough praise for his production style and his production feats. And on top of that, Guru was still doing some dope lyrical things. He was doing some great simple patterns, but still he was doing some patterns. He was doing some very intelligent stuff. So Guru was putting it down. You know what I'm saying? And he was rocking his particular thing. You always talk about everybody sound different by sticking to that whole monotone thing. You know what I'm saying? It was his thing.
Yeah. See, that's one thing I do respect about him. He never got out of his lane. He kept doing this thing. Just like you said, he stayed with that monotone. He never did no hyped up nothing. You never heard him hyped up.
Yeah, this is what he did, and he was a real dude because there was a situation back in the day where the record label wasn't promoting them right, and they went in there with guns and they inspired some record promotion. So that you gotta understand things was different back in them days. A lot of times those artists would just I mean, not the artists, but a lot of these executives would just treat artists like however they wanted, just because they had that power. But once they start bringing in these rappers, they was off the streets, and they still had street logic and street justice, in their back pocket. And the bottom line is that it changed the game. So when you ultimately get to someone like Suge, they realize that now these executives, they're tucking their chains, when this executive is coming by, because they're bringing that street mentality to the record business.
They made the move, huh?
Yeah. Absolutely. So,
So check it out. The next album was Hard to Earn. Now, if I leave this up too long, because I'm looking at something else, you can just go ahead and take it down, bro.
No. Yeah. No. I want to. Okay, so the thing about this now, we don't have Brother Walk. He's not here. He has some things to do. But one thing he wanted to point out is that on this Hard to Earn album, there's this song called Mass Appeal, and he thinks it's the greatest hip hop beat ever. I disagree, but I do think it's a dope song, and I do think it's a dope beat. I don't even think it's the dopest Premier beat. My first knee jerk reaction when he said it in the meetings was like, that Mass Appeal is not greater than Shook Ones, and
Right.
El Poo, you agreed with me. I'm just saying that.
You're gonna have to spin that back on that one right there, because
I'm gonna tell you, man. Shook One's fun too, particularly. We're gonna want to be clear and stress it.
Yo, Mass Appeal is dope as hell. It's dope. When I first heard it, I was like, yeah, that shit banging. It was no doubt that was hip hop to me. I wanted to hear that. But Shook Ones, I mean, not taking nothing away from Master because
Yeah,
that show
yeah,
is
it's
dope,
just
dope. But Shook
uh,
Ones is just on a whole nother level right there.
whole nother level. I mean, and it's funny. There's this video out where the dude sort of like breaks down the samples and pieces and parts of that. And I gotta tell you, I had a respect for that song before. The respect I had after that was just crazy. I mean, I know that Havoc is the producer, and and they're a dope combination. And we talk about that. I don't want to do too much in it, but I got to give out when we bring it up. It's just a masterful song. It came together perfectly, and it's one of the greatest. But you know what? My favorite song on this album, I want to run my eyes over it to make sure before I say it for sure, is Dwick. Dwick is a song that when I first heard it, I thought, wow, this is a very simple song. And they brought Nice and Smooth on there, and Nice is a very simple. Greg Nice is a very simple rapper. You know what I'm saying? The lyrics that he's saying are super basic, but he's selling them. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
remember him talking about in the day. He goes, "Look, all these people want to be all complicated, but I make the party go." You know what I'm saying? And people will have fun reciting my lyrics and stuff like that. And I was like, he's right.
Yep.
Rick D. Rocket was my favorite cartoon after the wedding. Is the honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like it's fun. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing about it. And but this song, everything about it was real basic, but it came together like Voltron. It's like this is one of my favorite songs. This is a song you play in a party. If I'm sitting down, I'm probably gonna have to get out there on the dance floor and do some old people dancing. It's gonna happen. This is my song. I was dancing, I was dancing this song at my wedding reception. So that's what's up. Dwick.
Serious, serious.
Yes, yes.
Oh! Spin that back one more time. Hey, in fact, give him a long. Yo,
That's what's up.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the only two I really know off this album because I wasn't, like I said, I didn't really get this. I probably heard a whole. I'm pretty sure I heard probably the whole album. I'm pretty sure I have heard it.
What happened to you is probably what happened to me with Nas's first album. I didn't sit down and listen to the whole thing, but the fact of the matter is, over the course of time, by us, I've heard all the stuff. I just never knew that all the stuff was necessarily from that particular album. So that's what I'm saying. You probably heard a lot of this stuff, but not realizing that this is from Hard to Earn.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that because I probably had a whole lot, some off mixtape, but I don't even see the names of them on there.
Oh,
Probably
oh,
verses or something.
there's a song on this called "Now You're Mine." Okay, now this song, I didn't have too many ringtones, but this was my ringtone for like the last my ringtone that I had was Now You're Mine. This is the song they played. Remember they had the Clippers, not we're not Clipper fans on this show, but they had back when the Clippers was cool, they had a Q Richardson and what was the other dude in Darius Miles, and they had a video where they were playing basketball,
Mhm.
and they had it to this song was like the backdrop, the background music, because the whole everything about the song is basketball references. Across your go right, make you go left or whatever stuff like that. He's crossing you over. I mean, it's a dope song. If you have not heard it, go check it out. Now You're Mine, Gangstar. It's on the Hard to Earn album, one of the greatest songs. And you know what? This is a song that Brick Walls really got. That's what it is. Yes, that song. It's just a banger. And I remember I was arguing against it. And it was one of the many times where I just had to say, you know what, Brick Walls, you was right, I was wrong. That song is amazing. Amazing. So.
Yes, sir. Oh, okay. I'm thinking Floyd X trying to come up in here, but I guess he having some issues. So
I think he's just kind of doing background event that he wants to do some production work or to help us out and to assist and basically to hide. That's probably what he's doing.
yeah. Maybe it's that
And
too.
Born Alive, if you out there, feel free to pop in anytime.
Born Allah, please come on in here. Holler at us.
Because we shooting through these albums and you probably want to say something about something that we've already covered. But um next up, Moment of Truth.
Let me see. Let me see. Is that him?
Yep, that's it. The Moment of Truth. And you know what? They have some dope album covers. They have a dope symbol, dope icon. That's the thing about it. A lot of these rappers, you know, they don't necessarily have a dope icon, but when you have something like Wu, it just transcends the fact that it's a reference to Wu Tang. It's just that W. It's people get that tatted on them. It's so dope in itself. So that's one of Gangstar is one of those groups that had that, and my group, we didn't do much of nothing. But the fact of the matter, if you take that off for a second, yeah, if I cover up I cover up my it worked before when I did that. I thought it was gonna when you cover up yourself, there you go. That was part of my symbol right there. So RAW. So yeah, so that was the trick to come up with a dope logo, a dope symbol that people want to take over and use it for whatever they wanted it to mean. But that's what's up. But coming back to the moment of truth, you know, my steez. That's the first song on this. Dope.
This was the first Gangstar album that I bought, and I feel ashamed. I
It's
do.
never too late to go back and buy.
Let me just go ahead and spend it. But I love this album. When I got it, I was like, wow, I should have got some Gangstar way before this. You know what I'm saying? But I played this. I ain't played as much as I wanted to because I was so deep in my own production at the time. But if I had this and I didn't have my equipment, I was, if this was 94, I probably would have played the shit out of this album. Just if I was in the same place, basically. But yeah, great
and,
album.
and that's the problem. Actually, this was 1998.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, if I was just if I
Oh
had the
yeah,
time,
gotcha. Yeah,
like
yeah.
like in '94, this would
Like
have
you were
my
doing it. Gotcha. I heard what you're saying.
would have been my rotation because I had my headphones on all the time, doing whatever I was doing.
And that's the thing about it. As an artist, a lot of times, one of the things that Ice Cube was always accused of is stealing stuff. And it's like, when things are in your head and you're exposed to stuff, you don't necessarily know the origin of it. So, I'm gonna say that, maybe he was doing a lot of that stuff, but maybe he wasn't doing a lot of that stuff intentionally. And that was one of the reasons why I dialed back. I was, we talk about not trying to sound like anybody else. That was another one of the reasons. So I always say that, during the 90s, there was a stretch where I refer to as me doing a bid. And the bid that I was doing was focusing on really not trying to be doing what everybody else was doing. So that's why. And I deprived myself a lot of great hip hop. And when I go back to that era and listen to stuff that I missed, I'm like, whoa, there was some dope stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean, as far as yeah, okay, I agree. I'm gonna just say I agree because I don't even want to debate it too deep. It's supposed to be about what it's supposed to be about. Gangstar. Let's keep it here. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, this was a great album right here. And and every one other thing I want to say is this: if y'all liking what y'all seeing, just push that like, share, subscribe. Give us some little bit of love out here. And
and give us some feedback. If there's something you want to talk about, something you want to cover, some group, that it all starts with someone putting an idea out there and that's going, yeah, that's a good idea. So that's how we were doing this. Walk brought this up and then he went and ran from the show, but that's all right. But he, he's taking some important stuff. But okay, so this is the app. I was correct. So it was on this album, the song called Above the Clouds. That's the song with Inspector Deck. I thought Inspector Deck would have been too early to be on that other song. So yeah, Above the Clouds. Man, again, Inspector. I'm a big fan of the Rebel INS, and it's a dope song. It's a dope song. He has some dope features on this song. I mean, dope features on this album. Because you talk about the militia. The militia is like they've been basically when they get those two guests on it. When it's Big Suge, who was original member of Gangstar, but when they have Big Suge and Freddie Fox, they always do it as like a militia part one or a militia part two or militia part three or whatever. So
right, right. And they did have remixed this original Militia too. I think
oh,
Del P
yeah.
was on it.
Yeah, yep, that's right. So yep. So it's tell you this brother got some discography. Uh-oh. We might be having no, maybe not.
You got Freddie Fox, aka Bumpy Knuckles.
Bumpy Knuckles. And that was a dude that, he was talking out mouth. You know what I'm saying? He
You
was
get
putting
popped
his
in that
mouth
mouth.
back in the days. Yeah, there were certain dudes that you be careful who you talk reckless to because there you might have had to deal with some hands. You be careful about talking about Willie D, and you be careful about talking about Freddie Fox because I remember when Karis One did what he did to PM Dawn, and that was when he was like really hanging with Freddie Fox, and Freddie Fox was like, "Man, you should have had me on. You should have let me know."
Hey, but you was talking about some of Premier's Well, yeah. Premier's greatest beats. I think this
Yeah.
is one of them.
That makes me know that we were doing we had made the style of beat.
You know, hip hop, MCing, and DJing.
The real. That's right. You know my steez.
That beat right there was like, what the hell did he do?
And
And you
it's
know what
like
else? Go
you
ahead.
love the intro and you love the chorus. You love the you know what I'm saying. All the elements, the switch ups. That song is flawless.
Okay, now
So
we talking about Gang Stars. Let me stay on Gang Star before. But actually, no, it had to be around
that
this time.
was,
Let
but
me
that
say.
was Gangstar. That was Gangstar.
I know I was getting ready to say something about Premiere,
Oh,
because Premiere was out doing production. So
well,
anyway, let's go
no,
ahead.
no, 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 no. We talk about the legacy of Gangstar.
So I know
One of the reasons why I agreed that because we're gonna talk about Primo's stuff. We have to talk about the legend of Primo. That is a byproduct. That is an offspring of the legend of Gangstar. So we definitely, if this is the time to do it, we're gonna talk about it because '98 is pretty late in the game. Primo's already done some classic stuff with some people by now. You're talking about what he did with Nas. You're talking about what he did with Biggie. My favorite Biggie song is "Kicking the Door." I mean, he flipped that Screaming Joe Hawkins or whatever that dude's name is. I mean, that it's special.
Yeah, Screaming
No,
Jay Hawkins. Yeah,
yeah.
I put a
and
spell on you. Yeah,
and J. Rue the Damager. Come clean. This is a beat. I mean, if you haven't heard it, YouTube people, I understand that we reach to an older audience, but I understand that anybody can come across this. But go check out J. Rue the Damager. Come clean. It's it's just like noises, and it's just a banger.
I think it's the exact same beat that Big and them used for Junior Mafia. What's it called? Love your titties if you love hip hop. Grab your dicks if you love hip hop.
I don't know about that, but you know what? It's funny.
It's backwards.
But you know what? He was dissing. He was actually in kicking the door. He was actually dissing J. Rule.
Because I think of
Well, also plus they were calling him pop, and they kind of were. They were all like how Bourne said last show. He was talking about the flashy rappers, the stunting rappers. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So they were the
yeah,
grimy
exactly. I was getting ready to say. One of these cats like Born Alive or Brick Walls or somebody in here can actually give us the name of the song because he did throw some shots, and I think Biggie took that to heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people was kind of throwing shots at that type of stuff, that flashy rap and all that old stuff. Yeah, but he said something specifically on one of his records. I forgot which record it was, but yeah.
And when Biggie was recording that verse, he told him like, I'm about to go after your mans." So you produced the track that's dissing your homeboy. So
And
what
hey, this is the legacy. This is the legacy of Gangstar. Hey, Premier's a part of Gangstar. Check this out. I ain't hear nothing else from J. Rue since then.
Hey, not only that, to tie it in on this very album that we're talking about, Moment of Truth, there's a song called B.I. versus Friendship. That's a diss song Gangstar made to J. Rue.
Word.
Fell out. So you know what I'm saying? So it just was, it all comes back inside. Yeah, no. DJ Premier, that dude, that guy.
Okay. But one of my favorite songs from Premier around this time was that's one of his favorite tracks, I'll say, was the one he did for Limp Bizkit. I don't even know the name of that damn song. Limp
Man, that
Bizkit.
sounds familiar too. Yeah, man.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that damn song.
Oh, and if we're talking about what he done, hey, check this out. Primo did these 2 songs for KRS One that were just mind blowing. So, excuse me, rappers are in danger, and I believe act like you don't know. MCs act like they don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it's like KRS One is already that dude, but then you added Primo, like prime Primo. I mean, those songs are just amazing, and it's just so dope when somehow some legendary cat gets Primo to work with him, and then they work their magic and do like that. So I'm telling you, those are two of my favorite, not my 2 favorite, but 2 of my favorite KRS songs. I mean, it's just man. And Brick Walls, I'm telling you, Brick Walls literally called me up and was like, check this out. I just sent you an email. I need you to listen to this. And we was just like, yo, man, Chris is just killing it, and we like die hard, when the bridge wars is going on, we would die hard on the side of the Queens Bridge. So you know what I'm saying? So us to be giving Karis them mad props, we're like, yo, the teacher, this brother is not limiting himself. He's always expanding and always growing. And those songs were just amazing. It was a great resurgence of the teacher.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Spin that back. Yeah. So in fact, this was the first time I really heard the term taken seriously, boom bap, when they got together. Returned to boom bap. It was like, oh, that's what that is. That's what that style is.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because KRS-One was always championing that sort of like simplistic, basic, beat type stuff. He was when people, you got to understand, around the time of like The Good Life and Project Blowed, stuff that Born Alive was a big part of and stuff like that. People were going into these fast chops and fast lyrics and stuff like that. And KRS-One was one of those people like, whoa, we got to appreciate the subtlety of the boom bap. So he resisted it, of course, and then ultimately, evolved to that and went to that. Hold on one sec. Go ahead, El Poo.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you did kind of go into that a little bit because you got to understand the teacher. He's the teacher of styles of hip hop. So he understands hip hop and style. So he can do all kinds of any style and freestyle and this style and do your style, and do the wild style and do his style because that is his style. But anyway, yeah, he's the teacher. So he was, he can actually do anything that he want to do on the mic. That's what I do like about KRS. If you go to a KRS show, you're going to get a show because this man is a showman. He's really good on the mic. He can come off the top of his head. He can take you through some classics. Yeah, he is what he is. But this whole thing we talking about today is we talking about the legacy of Gang Starr. So I'm gonna get back on to Primo. Primo, I started really appreciating his production when he was with Nas. When he did those couple little tracks on the Illmatic album, New York State of Mind. Yeah. To me, that was just crazy, out of this world. I was like, yeah, this is it. Yeah. One of my favorite songs in hip hop ever since I heard it.
Yeah, and the reason why I took that call is because that was one of the people that's supposed to be coming on the show. So I was seeing if he was getting on, but yeah, so he's not. But that's not Born Alive. Maybe Born Alive still tap in, but yeah, it's I tell you, Primo is one of my favorites. I mean, if I had to pick somebody, other than Brick Walls, I'm probably gonna say Primo.
Okay, yes, sir. But then, what was the next album? What album are we on right now? Hard to Earn?
So next, that was Hard to Earn. And then the next one is The Owners.
No, I think it's one more. Full Clip, right?
Let me see where that falls. You know what? You telling me that I don't have it? Maybe. I think Full Clip was wasn't that like a compilation? Was that you have the track listing on that?
I think it was. I think it was a compilation, all kinds of compilation. Then a couple of other songs, Full Clip. And I think you had a couple of remixes. I think you had a remix to what you had a remix to.
And that was definitely one of
Militia 2. And then you had My Steez remix with Lady Rage.
And that one I bought. That was the one that I bought. That was the CD, and that was the one that I was rocking in my car. And that's the music that I really heard and knew about Gang Starr. So I heard the stuff that dropped, that was the singles, the stuff that was promoted, the stuff that made it to Yo MTV Raps, or made it to Rap City. But as far as or made it to the radio, but as far as purchasing, that was the one that I purchased that really, got a lot of that stuff, because there were certain songs that I always wanted, particularly Bust Your Shit, and that was my way of getting it. I remember that. So they had Bust Your Shit and Dwick on it. I was sold, so I bought it. I got it somewhere around here.
That's right. And then they had one last one, The Owners.
I don't think that's the last one, but it's one of the last ones.
I mean, one last one before your boy died.
Was it? Yeah. Because maybe the other one is one of the best yet was there. That's right. That was the one. That was post post I forget, I don't know how they pronounce it, so I don't want to clown myself. But the bottom line, it was after he died.
Hostlers, hostlers,
But
hostlers.
yeah, the owners. So the owners was the last one while he was amongst us and with us. I know that he did his own thing, that Jazzmatazz thing. So I don't think he did that with Primo. But
Yeah. Actually, yeah, we need to actually give him his flowers on that. That Jazzmatazz was really big too.
mhm.
I mean, I didn't really get it, but I heard some songs off of it. It was a couple of hits, that they
Yeah, he
played.
made they singled some stuff from it, and that's the thing about it. You usually have a person that leans into the jazz aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't just trying to be limited to just the fundamental two turntables SB 1200 type thing. He was like really kind of leaning into jazz. So and he had he got respect, like real jazz people that were really doing things at the time. So for his efforts. So shout out to Guru on for that.
Yeah, not only did he get respect, he was actually working with a lot of those cats,
Yeah.
which is, a big thing. In fact, let me give him some props here. Let me see if I can find his
Yeah, it helps to put money in people's pockets. That'll definitely get people showing you some respect. Word to what Kanye did with Uncle Charlie. Gave him some opportunity to do what he did, and that's a good way to get you some respect. Pretty much how all rappers have done with George. I thought I say George Clinton. Yeah, George Clinton.
right. Well, George, he gonna get his anyway.
You're gonna get it anyways, yeah. But that's a brother he's embraced the next generation. He's not one of them old cats that just hates on with the new stuff and just stay off my lawn, like me and Walk always talk about. As you get older, you got to understand that you kind of dig in to what has made a impression on you. So it's just a natural thing. So sometimes it takes some work to sort of like see outside of your boundaries. So you got to understand what us older folks. There may be a little bit of that, but a lot of us still can just appreciate greatness when it's done even differently. So
That's real talk. But look at this. Let's get this man his props. So on the Jazzmatazz album, the first one, Guru had Carlene Anderson, Roy Ayers, Donald Byrd, India Davenport, Ronnie Jordan, Courtney Pine, Lonnie Liston Smith, MC Solar. That's where he went wrong
yeah,
at.
that's where it all went wrong. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if we'll probably have to talk about it at some point, but yeah, that was the beginning of the end. So yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about it now. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, because he was diagnosed early. Guru was diagnosed early with I forget what it is, but it's some form of cancer. And I mean, in the early 2000s, and he ultimately died from it, or out of it, I believe, in 2010. And he became very infirmed and very sick. And what happens in a lot of these situations, I've seen it on the legal side, where we had a client that was going through a conservatorship, where the family, one person gets a hold of this person, and then everybody else is trying to reach this person, and this one person pretty much cuts everybody else off. And that's kind of happened with that MC Solar dude. And there's a lot of people that were trying to reach out to and connect to Guru, and it seemed like he just put that shield up. And Guru and Premier didn't quite necessarily end on the greatest of terms. I mean, there was actually great animosity, and none of it was coming from Primo. It was all coming allegedly from Guru, because basically these were letters that were being read that a lot of people actually speculated that Solar was actually writing. So it's sad when people start to lose their wares, and other people take advantage of them and then become their voice, because then they can say what they want to say.
Yeah. So we don't know the real truth behind it, but from what we heard, this is how we feel about MC Solar.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. It was real ugly breakup to a great legacy.
Spin that back on. So yeah, rest in peace, Guru. You left your legacy out here, with the legacy of Gangstar. This was your foundation, was your thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and Premier is still keeping it going. So
Whew.
Shout
And
out.
that's the thing about it. Primo, Primo doesn't need Gang Starr. You know what I'm saying? He's a legend. He's on Rushmore all by himself. He doesn't need this. But he was a part of it, and it was they're a great part of hip hop history. There's a great discography between the two of them. And Primo has always just supported it and propped it up. Even when ugly things were happening, he always basically kept his grace and poise and just at least as far as I heard. I can't say what happened behind the scenes or what I didn't hear. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much that makes it to me. But it's just that he's always been a champion for the legacy of Guru and the history of Guru, and just overlooking the ugliness that happened at the end, because ugliness unfortunately did happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Ugliness. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, but Premier, like I say, he's still carrying the flag and doing his thing, and he's been doing his thing. He done worked with multiple artists. Even when Guru was here, when they was together, he stepped out. He was doing this production thing because you can't stop that anyway. So shout out to TJ Premier for doing this thing. And I'm just saying, I just remember, just really taking notice of him when he really was messing with Nas. Then you had J. Rue, and there was all kinds of group home and a few other groups.
Ah, Group Home, Living Proof, man. That's just a classic song. You know, yeah, nah, there's some MOP. You know what I'm saying? you know,
MOP
so,
for real.
oh yeah, man. There's just
I mean, back in the day, I mean, even Big, like you say, Big J, uh,
yeah.
MOP. You're right.
I mean, you digging in the crates. I mean, the fact that that comes back to one of our earlier shows. That brother. I mean,
Exactly.
he
Showbiz. You're right. You're
yeah,
right.
he had Big L. You know what I'm saying? He just I always think about that song where it's like he starts off "Rest in Peace, Big L," and he shows the picture of him, at the beginning of the video. So man, Primo. I mean, Primo's done stuff. He did a song recently with PE, Public Enemy. It's a dope song, and he's now supposed to be doing an album with Nas. So now I can actually finally I won't be able to say that Nas is a weak beat picker, because Primo's gonna make sure the beats come out correct.
On one of these albums, wasn't this? Let me see. Uh,
So hey, shout out. So I don't know if you heard that Nas Primo song that just dropped a few nights ago.
was it?
You
My Steve? Oh, wait a minute. It's one of these songs. Wait, let me see.
Yeah, I think it's you.
That makes me know that we
Which one did they say?
feel it was
Big L, rest in peace.
I think it was my steez. That's what I'm thinking. In my mind, that's what I'm hearing. I have face blindness. I can't picture what I can't see, but it's kind of what I'm picturing. But but that was my recollection. And again, like I said, Nas and Primo are going to be dropping an album together soon. They just released a song a few nights ago, and I forgot what the song is called, but it's a dope ass song. I could tell the way that you were saying something that maybe you didn't hear it. But yeah, nah,
I
go.
didn't hear that, but I
Yeah,
think that's a
no,
great idea.
no,
And
it's
thank you, Mr. Charles X. I saw your comment up there, bro. Said
yeah,
great show, bros.
no,
Right now.
go check it out. I mean, it's dope. It's dope. And Nas has not lost a step.
Oh, you know
You know what
what?
I'm saying?
I just heard the song this morning from them too, actually.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
30, it was talking
Exactly.
about 30 years, yeah, because at the end it
Yeah.
was like 30 years. Yeah, it has been 30 years. It's like, oh, shit, it was 30 years. Yeah.
So yeah, nah. So this is gonna be. I'm very looking forward to this, because Nas has always been that guy. I have the utmost respect for that dude. I know that if I was to criticize him, he'd be like, "Who's you?" You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, what I'm speaking is the truth. The fact of the matter is your beat discography is does not live up to your rap discography. You know what I'm saying? But as far as you connecting with Primo, one of the absolute best, Rushmore for me. You know, this is pretty much guaranteed. Even though I will offer this a little bit of a complaint, I felt like, damn, they still like held back on some of the drums. It's like Primo, it's like Nas, you having your impact on Primo. Knock it off. You know what I'm saying? Get out of his way. But yeah, no, it's still a dope song. Nas killed it, killed it, killed it, killed it. Just man, much respect to Nas. He's that dude.
I think Common and Pete Rock are making that album, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Common and Pete Rock?
That would be dope. Common is a dude that I have a lot of respect for, and a lot of the reason I have respect for. I know that Vic loves Common, and I always felt like there was a time where our generation kind of like fell out of the mainstream, and there
Mhm.
were two people from our era that were still sort of like doing modern things and holding it down. And one of them was Common, and one of them was Jay Z. So I always had that respect for Common, even though personally, I always felt it's a little boring.
Okay, so if you think he was born, I mean, and you said Jay Z, okay, where do you put Nas? Do you put Nas and
Oh,
Jay Z
Nas,
same?
Nas, not Jay Z. Nas has always been a dude. First of all, I always felt like Nas is better than Jay Z, and Jay Z is another dude that I had to come back to because I didn't really flesh out his full first album. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you compare Nas's first album to Jay Z's first album, I'm giving it to Jay Z. That first album it's a better album. You know what I'm saying? And just I mean, it is what it is. I think that Ether is a better disc than Takeover. I understand the Takeover was better on facts, but I'm just saying as far as on phonics and just on Dead and the Enemy, I just feel like Nas did that, and I always felt that Nas was outside of his power scale. So really that wasn't the place, but I'm told, and I've been told this a long time ago, and I've been leaving this a long time ago, that Jay Z doesn't write anything down. That all of his stuff, he writes it in his head and recites it on his head. And I'm going to tell you right now, if all the stuff that we've been hearing is just stuff that he's writing and reciting off his head, and maybe Biggie's been did that after a fashion too, um, I think you can make an argument that he's the greatest rapper of all time. Because you talk about the longevity of what he's did, just to be able to do that. I'm gonna tell you, as a rapper, I remember Diana Ross was talking about how when she records a song, she said, "When I record a song, I want to record it early because what'll happen is that if I record it late, I'll just be overdoing it and stuff like that. Because it's something when it's in you and in your head, you have a different impact on it. And as far as with rapping, I noticed that when you first write something, you might be reading it after a fashion. But if you're reciting it, it'll help you layer it and lay it down. So I'm just saying that there's things that go on, and that's what I'm saying. That Jay Z he did that, he pulled that off. Because I mean, if you're telling me all of that stuff was just him, not freestyle, but just all not reading, it explains a lot. That dude is amazing, great discography. Salute to that guy.
Yeah, yeah. Spin that back, spin that all the way back. Hey, check this out. You making a good point, but I can't make the case of him being the greatest rapper when half the stuff that he's saying he even took from somebody else anyway.
Oh yeah, he's a swagger jacker.
I mean, come on, some of this stuff
Shout out
they
to Paxton. Always talks about how he just, and that's the thing about it. When you're just reciting stuff in your head, you don't necessarily know where all that stuff is coming from.
I mean, come on, what he did with that, I'm a hustler, baby.
Yeah.
When the Remy is in the system, ain't no telling what I did. Some that's
He
what
does
they
a lot of he does a lot of
come on,
shout
that's
out.
that
He
that
does
whole that whole all that is all big. Come on,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, there's a lot of shout outs. There's a lot of shout outs that you might think is a play on whatever, but yeah, no, there's an argument to be made there. Definitely an argument to be made. But he's also a real ass dude. So he's a dude that went through the stuff that he talked about, and there's some disconnect from where he is now to that, which is good. When you become as successful as him, you need to be mature and get away from that. But this again, Nas to me is just a better rapper. I don't necessarily say that he has a better discography than Jay Z, but he's just a better. He's in a different stratosphere than Jay Z. Jay Z was a guy that I always thought just benefited by the fact that Pac and Biggie died, and when they died, he just filled that vacuum.
And I'm pretty sure they're gonna be mad at us because we supposed to been talking about the Andy Starr, and then now we talking about Nas and Jay Z, and they beef and everything, and who's bad and who, and what's what, and don't
Hey,
know what's going on with
it
what.
all comes back to
But
Primo, though.
for Primo, we want to say first, we want to say rest in peace once again to, Guru. You did your thing. Hey, we can't help but give you your flowers after you go. Now that you're gone, so we still gonna keep on delivering flowers to you. So, but Primo, keep on doing your thing. We giving you yours right now while you're here. Keep on doing your thing because I didn't heard some other stuff you did. I heard you did a whole album with MC8.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
He got a song with Snoop out here right now, even though I know that's that AWB song that you use, bro, that intro to the Soul Searching album. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
got you. But anyway, it's good though. I ain't mad at it. I love
Hey
it.
man, there's some intros that I've heard on these songs. The album, I'm thinking, man, I could take that right now. Since you make a song out of it, you just did a little intro on it. I can flesh that out to some, Mr. Primo.
I shouldn't be snitching. I shouldn't be over here snitching like that. You know what I should do? I should be going to Who Sample, but no, they be hating. You know,
Hey, shout out to Born the Law. He's bring that up about rap snitching. So we always think about rap snitching as far as people telling on people criminal stuff, but we're talking about music and sample sources and stuff. So there's that element. Another thing I want to say about Guru, there was an industry party. Shame the brick walls ain't here because I was there with him. He's the one that brought me to it. It was the greatest party I ever been to. It was just live. It was just a lot of industry people there. Pasta News was there. Melly Mel was there. Guru was there, and I'll never forget that when this is during the sort of like the height of the East Coast West Coast beef and the DJ. So we're in Los Angeles. We're actually by Wilshire and Western. I don't remember what the stage or whatever the place, the venue is that would allowed for that,
the
but it was right.
Wiltern.
I felt like it was next to the Wiltern because I felt like you were looking right out the window but it was right over there by the Wiltern. But I don't know, but I just remember that when they put Tupac on, Guru came over there and was like, "Turn that bullshit," because that was at the time that it was like whatever. But I know that he ultimately, when Pac passed, on one of these songs that I don't know if it was this song, the Owners, the Eulogy, or the album before. He had another album. The last song is called "In Memory of." And that's where he shouted out Tupac. You know what I'm saying? So notwithstanding all that, that was a thing. So
Well, that is where it is. Let's spin that back one more time, y'all. Hey, Mr. Nice Guy, I appreciate you being here every week that you do, man, because you do be here every week, bruh. Ain't let us down yet. Ain't let me down yet because I can't do it by myself.
and that's why we don't have Spin That Back once a month, because then you ain't here and I can't do it by myself.
Spin that back one more time. Anyway, we appreciate y'all being here, though. Look, like, share, and subscribe if y'all appreciate what we're doing, because we do try to bring y'all some real true facts about this hip-hop thing. It is where it is, and we try to give it to you like you need to have it. So anyway, we out here. Catch us next time, 10:30 Saturday mornings, right after the Focus Up show, which is at 9 o'clock on Saturday mornings, right here on the Focus Up Network. Check with us. We will be trying to check with you. We will be looking for you. You might as well be here. And we out of here.